Hello, everybody. Here's the Purrely guy. I'm sorry for the delay for this video. I have been pretty busy with university, so it was a bit hard to publish a video on Monday this week. I was asked in the comments by a lot of people and in general to ask how the Naturia Purrely deck works and what a turn could look like, and also to explain a bit of the interactions in the deck. So that's what we will do today, and we will be showcasing three replays of Naturia Purely, and I'll explain a bit what my decision making is for these hands, and of course what ends out of them. So in the first one, this is the starting hand. I usually start always with Prosperity because then I can kind of see whether we have Noir access or not regarding on what we excavate and decide then what the M board would be like in that case. So in this case, we excavate Sacred Tree and Delicious. So adding Delicious can basically almost ensure that we have Noir access in this instance. So that's what I actually did. But Noir might not be the best in some instances. Um, and you might want to have access to your Naturia engine. So Sacred Tree is also another good add here because you'll be able to discard it off Happy Memory, and you have Blessing in order to summon what you add of this. So if you had Camellia, so that's also another option. In this case, I decide to add Delicious Memory, and then we normal summon Purely and use the effects, and we hit a Pretty Memory, so we add that to the hand. Now with this hand, it's pretty guaranteed to have Noir access, since we have 3 spells in hand, which is usually what we want to have. We use effect and attach Delicious to summon Plump, and then afterwards we use Happy and we discard the Blessing since we have no use for it, to summon another Purely, and we chain the Plump to the Happy so that we can attach it, and then we summon a Purely from deck, and then we use Purely effect, and we hit another Pretty Memory. Now this didn't matter because we already had one, so we already had Beauty access. So basically, in this instance, we're ending on Beauty plus Noir, and even though we don't play around Nib, it doesn't really matter in this instance because even if we can Nib to Noir summon, we still keep Noir and only Beauty goes away, so it doesn't really matter. So for next turn, we have 3 spinbacks of Noir, 1 negate of Beauty, and Ash Blossom. So we have in total 5 interruptions. But of course, Noir is very hard for them to out usually. So yeah, they might have a hard time with this end board. Now to the next one. This is the end board. I'll restart the replay. So our starting hand was Camellia, Pretty Memory, Delicious Memory, and Blessing. We start with Camellia Normal Summon. We send 3, of course, and then in this case, because we already have Blessing in hand, we can actually add Sunflower. This way we can play through hand traps such as Ash or Nibiru much better. So we're able to summon the Sunflower, and in this instance, we already have 2 monster negates in our turn, so we are free to play basically. I decided to discard Nib because we have Delicious, and even though we don't mill a spell of Purely, I still want Plump access, so we can keep getting resources out of it. Luckily, we hit My Friend, which is probably the best card we could have hit. And then we use Purely to attach Delicious, so we summon Plump. We use Plump effects. In this case, we attach 3, so it gives us follow-up for next turn, because when it's sent, it will add either a Blessing or another Camellia or Mole Cricket. And then we use My Friend to add either of the spells. I usually try to have 2 Delicious under Noir, so that it becomes bigger and harder to out, but in this case, we hit the Happy Memory. But that doesn't matter necessarily too much. So we're able to protect the Sunflower 1 time by battle as well, and then we summon Noir. So for next turn, we'll have 3 spinbacks again with Noir, 2 Sunflower negates, Camellia. One more thing we could have done here, but it played more into Ash. was to, instead of adding Sunflower off the Sacred Tree, to add Mole Cricket. That way we could have summoned the Sunflower off Mole Cricket and add Mole Cricket again in graveyard for next turn. So maybe we would have had more follow up in that sense. And then, of course, if Noir gets outed, we get back, since we have all three quick plays under. So we have Pretty, we have Happy, and we have Delicious. We'll be able to add back all three and have 4 cards in hand at the start of next turn, which is very nice. And now we go to the last replay. So in this instance, we start with Mole Cricket, Prosperity, Happy Memory, Caldo, and Blessing. So Blessing is very nice for that reason, because like before, we can play around Nibiru and hand traps pretty well, since we can summon Sunflower in hand. And then we Prosperity here, because we can protect ourselves from Ash, which is very important with this hand, because we don't really have that many lines of play. We managed to hit a Pretty, which is nice. And then we use Happy to protect Sunflower once, and discard Caldo, so we'll have 1 extra interruption in graveyard, or ways to shuffle back the Purrely's. We use Purrely effect, and in this case, so we either needed to hit Delicious or Pretty, or my friend, and then we'll use Purrely to summon Plump, of course, and then Plump will attach the Happy Memory in the tree. And then afterwards we'll use Pretty to attach it. What's nice is, like in this instance, for example, we would lose to Ash, or like wouldn't be able to attach more because of Ash, but because we have Sunflower, you can actually um, kind of mitigate that in that sense, or our opponent would have used Ash earlier. So in this instance, we still end on the 5 interruptions, so 2 monster negates and 3 spinbacks. Although I would probably say in this instance to just keep Noir around, and that would probably also help. And then we have some Mole Cricket and Camellia to summon back as well, so we can grab another Blessing for next turn. I hope these combos were kind of showcasing the potential of the deck well, and you guys have a better understanding now of what the strategy involves, and how the two decks synergize. I really like the Naturia engine because it lets you protect yourself from hand traps and offer extra negates with a very small engine that also grants you enough spell in graveyard to summon Noir turn 1 somewhat consistently. Now, I showcased hand test hands in which Noir can be summoned, but of course that's also not always possible. Sometimes we'll be ending on this plus Beauty, which is still 3 interruptions, which is not bad. But overall, I also really like how the Purely cards protect your small monsters, such as Sunflower, from battle or card effects. So it becomes much harder for the opponent to play around them, since they cannot go battle phase and beat over them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will try to upload a new video on Monday, but as well there might be delays because of my study. So either